Cam, you want to start with an introduction?
Hold on 1 second. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 4, correct? This is a month mark of us having a wonderful start to our Over and Back Basketball Talk podcast that we've been doing here weekly, which we're staying as consistent as possible. And I'm thankful for everybody that's been here along for the ride of our first month of many of this Over and Back Basketball podcast that we have. Let's get into our top 10. Malachi, would you like to start with our top 10 for this week?
Yeah, I get right into our top 10, and I do want to preface before we start, though, just so it ain't no confusion, that this is, as of right now, top 10. So we're not saying that this is going to be the top 10 for the rest of the year or anything. This is the top 10 teams as of right now. So for our top 10, it's looking real similar to last week. We got the Bucks remaining at number 1, the Suns at number 2, the Cavs jump up to number 3, the Celtics at 4, the Blazers jump to 5, the Warriors at 6, Pelicans at 7, Nuggets at 8, Grizzlies at 9, and then we have the Mavs come in at our new 10 spot, replacing the Raptors. So,
Do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, I had to get the Mavs in there. They're 6-3. They're playing pretty good basketball right now. Luka's playing MVP like basketball, so
facts.
I had to show the Mavs a little love and get them definitely in that top 10. We'll see how the next good matchup they have. We'll see how they look when they play a team ahead of them to see if they can jump the rankings. But I like what I'm seeing from Luka right now. Look like he's in MVP mode.
No, I agree. I definitely think that the Mavs are deserving of a top 10 spot. I still want to see them include Christian Wood a little bit more, though. They did all that to get Christian Wood, and I just want to see them use him a little more. But they got potential. It's just tough for them coming out of the West. So I don't know how much of a run they'll be able to make in the playoffs with the team that they have. But Luka's definitely hooping, and he's putting them guys on his back. So
Yeah.
another thing,
Yeah, I just wanted. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna move teams though. Was you gonna say something about the Mavs?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to point out the fact that Luka is averaging 36, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, and 2 steals. He's leading his team in all 4 of those categories, and he's averaging 36, 8, and 8. It's out of this world.
Yeah, he's
I understand that it's early on in the season, but 36, 8, and 8, he's playing out of his mind right now. And they got him some help with Christian Wood this year, like we said, but I want to see Christian Wood have more of an impact, and that starts at the coaching level. We'll get him more minutes, and
Yeah.
we'll see where that goes. I mean, he's not completely not getting in the game, but at the same time, we would love to see Christian Wood just. I want to see the coaches commit to him. Like
Yeah.
they went out of their way to get him. Commit to him. Let's show why you got him.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then another team though moved up on the list was the Cavs jump over the Celtics. Something we talked about last week. If the Cavs would make that jump, they played the second game with Darius Garland coming back for his first game, and the Cavs look just as
Yeah.
good. Darius and Donovan work better than I expected them to work together. Like they both are great scorers though. Like the Cavs have one of the best backcourts in the NBA right now for sure. Their front court is definitely
Definitely.
solid. Like I don't think it's no faking with this Cavs team right here. Like I think they got a legit chance to make some noise in the East. So they look
Yeah.
like they got it right now. And the East
Show
is
Donovan
East is
some
tough
love
this year.
too. Yeah.
East
The
is
East is looking
definitely
good.
tougher than it usually is. You know.
Yeah. I like what I'm seeing from Donovan though. He's looking like the best two guard in the league right now. He's been doing everything for Cleveland, and he was a big reason why they were winning games when DG was out, and now DG's back, and they look like they're meshing well together. So I like what I'm seeing from him. He's definitely in that MVP combo right now. As of right now, for sure. Start the season off.
Absolutely, they're 10 games into the year so far, and they're 8-2. Yeah, I like to see where they're going. The question really is, do we think they'll keep it up all season? How close to a 800 record do you think they're going to be? Uh, I want to get you guys' opinion on that. How good do you all think? What seeding do you all think the Cavaliers will have at the end of the season?
think they can get a top three seed really if they stay locked in. They playing like how they supposed to play. I think the Bucks are definitely in there. Boston's definitely gonna be in there. If Miami starts playing good basketball, they could get back up there too. But I think they could definitely get top four. There's no they shouldn't be outside the top four. No reason why they're outside the top four seed.
Facts. I agree with that. I think the only thing that really will hold them back would be injury, and God forbid anybody does get injured from that team. But they're young, so they got a lot of youth. I think that experience and when the end of the year, like we talked about, with rosters getting shorter and coaches playing and getting closer to playoff time, they got Donovan Mitchell with his playoff experience. So Donovan, kind of, if he steps up to really, really lead this team the way he should be, I think that they'll be a three seed, really fighting for the two spot, really, because I think they're
Yeah,
just as good as the Celtics, and I would have the Bucks and the Celtics as the 1 and 2 in the East. So I think they're just as good as
yeah.
the Celtics.
Absolutely. Oh, where do we have the Celtics? Can you remind me?
The Celtics moved down to the 4.
Okay. Um, that'd be interesting as well to see how consistent they stay over the season. A big question has always been with their stars, Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, their consistency. And we saw them go deep in the playoffs last year. Do you all think they can go as deep into the playoffs this year?
It's gonna be hard. I don't know if they're gonna make it back to the finals, but I think it won't be like on Tatum and Brown, and it won't. The reason why they lost, if they do lose, won't be because they weren't performing well. I think both of them have like got over the hump to where like they're playing consistent ball each and every night. And Tatum's been playing great to start the year off, and Jalen Brown's been getting buckets too. So it's looking just like they're picking up where they left off in the playoffs. So I definitely think they should go to the Eastern Conference Finals if they're locked in like they're supposed to. But I got them losing to the Bucks eventually, especially when they get Middleton back.
Yeah, I think that the Celtics are just as strong as they was. They kind of don't look the same defensive wise, but Jason Tatum looks like he's stepped it up so far offensively this year. But I just think that the Bucks are really hard to beat in the East. Like Giannis he's in his bag fully, so I think it's really hard to beat the Bucks. The Bucks is the team to beat for them. But other than that, I think they do have a good chance of going back to the playoffs. They made it third last year solely off of defense. Really, they shut down the East for the first couple of rounds, and
Yeah,
I think that they have all of the tools to go back. Like nothing really changed for them. Like they actually kind of got better. They added what's his name? Really good
Brogdon.
here. Brogdon. Yeah, they added Brogdon. Brogdon's
Yeah,
providing a good six man option. So I think they can really go back. I don't know if them winning it again. I don't know if they'll go all the way to the championship. They'll definitely be an Eastern Conference final level team. Like I said, I think they're the top
yeah,
two team in the East. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a lot more confidence in the Celtics than a lot of people do. I wholeheartedly believe that they'll get back to the finals this year, and I believe that because they didn't lose too much in the off season, and on top of that, Jason Tatum is absolutely a dog, and once he realizes that, it looks like he has so far, and when he takes over games, when he heats up in those fourth quarters, it's really a masterpiece to watch. And I don't know a player in the league that can guard him when he gets hot. And once he finds out how to get hot and stay consistently, and I hate to compare him to Kobe, but at the same time, that's who he's modeling his game after. You can see it a little bit, well, at least his work ethic. He's modeling his work ethic after Kobe, and that's why he keeps getting better every single season. He answers every question that we have for him every single season. So when I say that, I believe that he can get back to the finals and hopefully take it home this year.
that'd be, I
But
mean, that'd be a big
go ahead.
task for him. I just think the consistency is like you said. He does continue to grow every year. If he finds his consistency in the playoffs, I think that Jason Tatum becomes a top five player in the league if he finds a consistency. So I agree with
yeah.
you on that.
He's knocking on that door. He's definitely knocking on that top five door. If he gets a chip, that'll put him up there. He'll probably be in that top three-ish range after a chip. If he, but yeah, he's got some work to do, but he's right there. I think I take him over Embiid. So I mean, I probably got him like top 6.
Oh, that's a bold statement. I don't know. Jason Tatum was over
Bold statement.
Embiid. So are
Yeah,
you
I
saying that
mean, give me
you
Tatum.
putting Embiid at the bottom of your top five, right? So Embiid is
No, no,
like,
no. Embiid's not in my top 5.
oh, okay.
I got Embiid's top 10. He's a superstar, but he's not. I wouldn't give him top 5. I got Giannis, Steph, KD, um, Luca. Jokic is better than Embiid. Yeah, Tatum's better than Embiid. So you got a couple players around there that's better than Embiid, but he's right there. I say like 7.
Melly, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel like to me Embiid is if he's not a top five player, he's got to be number six. Because I mean, he does it. He does it all at his position. He stretches the floor, and I think that Embiid being in a bad system, he gets a lot of hate for that. And I'm not gonna be sit here and act like Embiid shows up in the playoffs all the time because he definitely does disappear in the playoffs, and I can see the downside of Embiid. Like I can see what there is to hate on Embiid. But when Embiid is hooping, he's one of the most dominant scorers in the league right now. Like I think
Yeah.
Embiid has to be top five. He's definitely the second best big in the league. If you want to say Jokic is better
Yeah,
than him, I don't know. It's a toss up to me.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's not
Embiid's a
if you
bucket.
say Jokic is better, it's not by far.
No, not at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Not at all.
yeah.
yeah.
So
No, he's not way better than him.
yeah,
I wouldn't
I
say
feel like it's.
it's a mile in between them, but I give Jokic the edge a little bit.
I would say it's a neck and neck competition there as well. And if it was a three horse race between Jokic, Embiid, and Jason Tatum, I don't think that you can go wrong picking either one of those. But I believe I would take Tatum right now over both of them, at least at the start of the season so far. I mean, Jokic has been iffy. It's not the same Jokic that we've seen in the last 2 seasons so far. And
No
Embiid,
facts.
he's been in and out of the games with injuries. So definitely this season by far I'd take Tatum. But we'll just see where this goes down the line to the NBA season.
Yeah,
Okay, and the last team I wanted to talk about from the list though is the Trailblazers. I want to see like do y'all think that the Trailblazers are the real deal? Like, is it early? Things is just going right. What do y'all
You
seen?
know,
uh,
you know, you know what I liked about the Trailblazers so far? It's Damian Lillard obviously is gonna play like Lillard regardless of who is on the team and how they're playing, and we're seeing that so far already. And Yusuf Nurkic is stepping up into that role that I've been wanting to see him play all year. And I knew he was gonna come into the role this year and play good, mainly because of the way he was playing in the offseason for his country. And a lot of the players that go overseas and play for their countries, I like watching that because I see the energy that they're gonna bring into the upcoming NBA offseason. I mean NBA season. So I like to see Yusuf Nurkic playing the way he has. But really, the X factor for them this year, for me to see how legitimate they will be, is Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp is an absolute dog. He is a bucket, and I want to see him keep progressing as a rookie, and I want him to be impactful as a rookie, and I feel like he can be. And I don't think obviously I don't think he's gonna win Rookie of the Year, but he is a dog, and I want to see him keep just grinding and progressing and make the Trailblazers a contender.
yeah, Shaden Sharp, he's good. He's got a high ceiling. He's real athletic. He got a jump shot. And he's definitely got high upside as a scorer. He's been showing some flashes this year. He just had a dunk not too long ago where it looked like he just jumped straight off a trampoline and
LeBron,
boomed it. Yeah, nah, he was up there, and yeah, he's 6'6". He's got some size to him. So yeah, Shaden
what
Sharp, he got a bright future if he can put all the pieces together.
with that being said, what is the ceiling for the Trailblazers this year? We know they're a good team, but
And
how far in the playoffs can we see them going? What seed can we
I
see
Second
wouldn't
them?
say
round.
they're high. Yeah, I can see
I
maybe second
second
round.
round exit at the
But I can see
max
him
for
losing
me.
first round
That's what.
too.
Yeah, I can see him losing first round, but it's
I
second
mean,
My
I can
round
thing
see
the
him
about
losing
max.
that
first
is,
round.
it obviously depends on matchup, but Damian Lillard, and we've seen him in the playoffs. We saw what he did against Russell
Yeah,
Westbrook, who was near his prime, and Paul George, who we can say that was the best Paul George we've seen, maybe because that was Paul George's MVP season. Well, not MVP season, but MVP. He was top three in that conversation that year. Um,
yeah,
I mean, we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. If he has a good surrounding core with him, which he's had a lot of different pieces throughout his career. He had LaMarcus Aldridge early on in his career. Now he has more young stars like Nurkic and even Anthony Simons is playing good.
Yeah,
So
he's been
I,
great.
I feel like their ceiling is Western Conference Finals. Their floor, I feel like they can make the playoffs. I don't think they'll be a play-in team. I think they're definitely going to be a top 8 seed. But I mean, I know that's a wide range, but it really depends on their matchups. And I feel like honestly, the way that I've heard if Kawhi his knee, I've heard that his knee has gotten worse. If I see the Trailblazers play the Clippers in the playoffs,
With
I
no
think the
Kawhi,
Trailblazers can win that with or without Kawhi. Honestly,
So you
I
think
believe the Trailblazers have the team to be able to win that game or win a 7 game series. Yes,
so you think that this year, this basketball year, that the Trailblazers could make it to the Western Conference Finals?
absolutely. They have the roster too, in my opinion. And Damian Lillard leading them, absolutely. He's a superstar, and we have completely forgot about how good he was just because of the season that the Trailblazers went through last year.
No,
yeah,
Damian Lillard is
he's a
definitely a
great player.
superstar. He's definitely a superstar. And
But
I just think time after time again, he's proven that it's not enough in the playoffs. That they need
yeah, it's
more.
not enough. They need more. Like I can run down. Let's run down a list real fast of the teams that they would lose to in a 7 game series in the West.
The Warriors
They're
have
definitely
won.
losing to the Warriors.
Definitely to the Warriors.
They're definitely losing to Phoenix.
Yes, two teams that
Okay,
Yes.
definitely
who
lose.
else we got? They're not beating the Nuggets.
That's
They
okay.
went to 7 with the Nuggets
Okay,
before, and
I
I
think
think this is a
they'll
better
beat the I think
Trailblazers
they'll
team
beat the
than
I
they
don't know
had.
Warriors.
if they'll beat the Nuggets. If the Nuggets stay healthy, Jokic will
I
probably
don't
get
think
back to
they
that form.
I don't think they
They
beat
got
the Grizzlies.
MPJ. No, they don't beat Memphis. They definitely don't beat Memphis. They're not beating Memphis. They're not
They're going
beating.
to seven
I'm
with the
forgetting.
Mavs. They're going to seven with the
No,
Mavs.
they're not. No, no, no. Luca's cooking them.
Nah,
Luca's
they're
gonna
going
cook
to
them.
they're going to
He's
seven
going
and it's
back
a
and
toss
forth like
up. Yeah, they're
playoff
going to seven
Nah,
and it's a
Dame
toss up.
Dame
nah.
time.
Luca's supporting cast is gonna do more than Dame supporting cast in the playoffs. Because
I think
Luca's done
I think
made it to the
Nurkic
Western
is
Conference
going to
Finals.
step up in the playoffs. That's that. Like I think I don't even see him as an X factor anymore. I think it's really Nurkic and Lillard just going to go off in the playoffs.
Yeah,
If the Trailblazers ran into the Mavericks and the Clippers, I think those teams are in trouble in the playoffs. Honestly,
Are, they're not beating the Pelicans. They're not beating New Orleans in a 7 game series.
I don't think
I
I
don't
so.
got
think
them.
I
I don't
think the
got them
Pelicans
over
will
New
pull that
Orleans.
out as well.
So
I don't know
they
about
got
that.
they got a
They
lot
got
of teams that
a lot
they're
of
either not beating
The
or
playoffs
it's
are going to be
going to
interesting.
seven. Yeah.
yeah. A lot's gonna have to go right for them. They probably have to run into some injuries, like to some injured teams, and then they might get over the hump. Maybe they get that type of they get that Atlanta pathway or something. I mean, I don't know, like an easy pathway to the
I
Eastern
mean,
Conference
we
Finals, like
just
how
said
Atlanta had a couple years ago. But I don't know the West. They got some good teams over
yeah,
there.
the West is stacked. Like as much as we just said the East is getting better, the East is still nowhere near the West. The West, like the 5 seed in the West will probably be a top 3 team in the East.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it all just depends. But I mean, there's other teams that we're forgetting about too. I'm sure if I looked at a standing list, um, but there's a lot of teams that
I mean, the Jazz is in the West Super right now, and I legitimately think the Jazz will give them a good series. I don't know if that one goes to seven. Trailblazers might
I
I
beat
think it
them
think
in
the
goes
like
7. I
Jazz.
six.
I
think that
think the
could go to
Jazz
5 or
will wash.
6.
I think the Jazz will wash out after a while. I
I,
don't
I
see
do
them.
too. I do
The
too.
Jazz, maybe the Jazz get a play in. Play in their first year. That's kind of good. Maybe they'll get a play in, maybe a 9 or 10 seed. But I definitely don't think they're gonna play like that. But they have been hooping right now. Larry Markin has been playing good. They've been playing some good basketball out in Utah. So it's a good start to the season. But I don't see them like being able to sustain that. I just don't.
I don't either. I mean, they young guys is really good, but like they're young guys, and when the end of the year comes and it's time for guys to get super serious, I think that Markkinen would definitely chill out. I don't think he'll play like this for the whole season. If he does, he'll prove me wrong, and kudos to him. I'm not hoping he doesn't, but I think it'll be hard for him to maintain this type of play for the whole season.
Yeah, are they gonna beat the Timberwolves in the 7 game series?
Who, the Blazers?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards can't do it all himself,
I mean,
and I don't see Carl Anthony Towns has been shaky in the
when
playoffs
you
and playing games and things of that nature. He tends to shy away. Rudy Gobert ain't gonna have that big of an impact until he proves it to me. I don't have the faith in him to be uh, a above top five center, top even seven in my
He,
opinion.
he's really
So
almost like top five by default. Like, I mean, he's
yeah,
good, but it's
yeah.
just like his
I don't
ceiling.
know.
I
It's
mean,
a lot of.
he
Hold
can
on.
only
Let's do
do so
this real
much.
quick because I like that. I'm gonna name a couple of guys, and we're just gonna go quick. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, let's just go quick with it.
Are we taking them or Rudy Gobert? And these are not gonna be established guys because we know we're taking, them. But so first, I'm gonna start off with Nick Claxton. I'm taking Nick Claxton over Gobert right now. Keep it a
Nick
buck.
Claxton.
Nah, I don't know
Nick
about
Claxton.
that. I'm gonna take Gobert. I ain't taking Nick Claxton. Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Claxton, he can be a spark plug at times. I've seen it in
Nah,
games.
Claxton's not bad. He's not bad.
Claxton
He's
finishes
got
around the rim. I want my big
Yeah,
man to be able to finish around the rim. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Uh,
yeah.
Christian Wood. Are you taking Christian Wood or Gobert?
right now I'm taking
I don't know.
Gobert.
Yeah, I might take Gobert too.
Gobert,
But yeah,
because
I'm gonna
yeah,
take Gobert.
I'll take Gobert. Aiton or Gobert.
Aiden.
That's close, but I might take I might take Aiton just because he can score more. But yeah, and I don't know. But I mean, if they use the same method they use on Rudy and just go small ball lineup and make Aiton guard the perimeter, he's gonna look just as bad as Gobert did. He's not moving his feet like that either,
Aiton
but he can
finishes.
score more. Yeah, Aiton can finish. Now,
Give
Aiton's
me
got post
Aiton.
moves and he got a little jumper too.
All right,
I would have
Who
less.
else?
Yeah, I have less pain watching Aiton. I think I'd probably take Aiton.
I'm taking Aiton. Are we taking Jared over Gobert?
Ooh. Nah, they're
Ooh,
they're they're similar, really. I mean, Jared Allen, they probably average around
ooh.
the same amount of points. I'm gonna take Rudy. He a way better defender too, even though Jared Allen be blocking shots. But
I'm gonna take Rudy Gobert, but that's head and head. That's neck and neck.
I'm taking Jared. I'm taking Jared Allen.
I don't blame you for that at all. I really don't.
I mean, I feel like every other center in the league, like okay, Rudy or Bam.
I'm taking
Bam,
Bam.
bam,
See,
off rip.
I mean, I like Bam a lot better as a player. Bam's size just scares me sometimes. On the
Sometimes,
like,
but I mean, he be holding up.
he
He be
definitely, he
holding up
definitely
pretty good because
does.
he's a great defender. So I mean, I wish, but man, if Bam was 6'11", like 7 foot,
It'd be
Bam would
over.
be a problem.
It'd be
He would be
over.
a real deal problem.
I
But
probably
he's
would
only six
still go
nine.
Bam over Rudy though. I really don't like Rudy Gobert. I'm gonna be honest. I was watching the Timberwolves game, the only Timberwolves game that I've watched a full game of this whole season. I can't remember who they were playing though. It was like a couple days ago, and I was just watching.
Yeah,
It looks like they're ruining their future with Anthony Edwards because what they did essentially makes no sense. They put Carl Anthony Towns and Gobert in the same lineup with a guy who needs to get to the rim for every other piece of his offensive game to work up. Anthony Edwards is not able to get to the rim at all right now because whoever is guarding Rudy Gobert is sitting in the paint because they know damn well he's not going to hit a jumper and they dang near know he's not going to hit a layup. So it's like
no doubt.
this guy is sitting here playing 100% help defense. Anthony Edwards is struggling. He looks visibly upset, and it doesn't look like it's working at all. So I think the Timberwolves had a good shot last year. Like the Timberwolves exceeded my expectations last year. They look
Yeah,
worse than they did last year.
they were smooth last year. They were smooth last year. I mean, D'Lo was playing better too. I mean, they gonna need D'Lo to step up
Thanks.
and do something too because D'Lo ain't been looking too great this year. And there's been talks that want him to get they want to get rid of D'Lo because he's just not performing like he's supposed to be performing in their eyes. So if they can get something more out of him and he can figure out what's going on, I think the Timberwolves start winning. Like my Knicks smacked the Timberwolves yesterday. We smacked them. I don't think
That's
Rudy Gobert played, but Cat played, Ant played, and D'Lo played. We smacked them
that's
at
one.
Minnesota.
That's one we need to do very soon. Either if not by the end of this episode, definitely next week. But who would you rather with D'Lo? Because just his inconsistency, but his pure
I'm
skill
taking
is
a
could
lot
be a
of
I
guards.
mean, we can. I would say we can get it right now, but I don't
if you
think it'll
if
be
It
that
ain't gonna
close
be too
right
much of a
now.
combo
yeah,
because a
if you
lot of
have
guards.
people off the top of your head that you could bring up, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, just like young guards in the league that ain't like superstars, but like they're hoopers. Like DG not a superstar yet, but I
But
mean
I'm definitely going
DG's
DG.
yeah better than D'Lo right now.
That's why I feel like all
D
the guys
Fox,
I can think of, like even if you wanted to say Shea, but I'm definitely taking him.
yeah, SGA is better than him. D Fox is better than him. Um,
I mean, it definitely hurts me to do all. Like it hurts me to say these
I'm
Yeah,
things. I
it
love
does because he's
D'Lo.
from the
Like
city. I love
some
love
people
D'Lo.
love
It
D'Lo.
just
love
now when
D'Lo.
D'Lo was in Brooklyn, that's a different D'Lo.
Different D'Lo. Yeah.
That was a top 10 guard, but he hasn't looked like that in a long time. So I mean, even Brunson, I might show a little bias because he played for the Knicks. But who would you rather have starting on your
No, I'm
team right
taking
now?
Brunson.
Brunson.
I'm taking
I'm gonna take
Brunson.
Brunson.
I'm taking.
Brunson averaging 20 right now. He's
Yeah, like I'm
playing.
taking
He's
Poole. I'm
hooping.
taking Brunson. I'm taking all those
Yeah,
guys.
Would you rather have
all these
Jordan
young guys.
Clarkson? Would you rather have Jordan Clarkson or D'Lo?
Damn, near won't
Man,
say Jordan
I
Clarkson.
might. I'm not gonna say Jordan Clarkson just because he's not playing an ounce of defense, but he can't score. That's all he
Uh,
can do. I'm gonna take D'Lo.
Gary
He's got
Trent
more. He's gonna do
Gary
more.
Trent Jr. or D'Lo?
D'Lo. Gary Trent Jr. got a strap though.
yeah, Gary Trent Jr. shoot the ball. I think I'm gonna go with Gary Trent really because he
Y'all
played
taking
D
Clay or
too.
Really?
D'Lo?
Clay,
Play.
I'll take Clay, but I need Clay to get his rhythm. He hasn't been looking
Actually, I
too
really
good
might
this
go.
year.
I really might go D'Lo just because of the legs. I'm concerned for Clay's health. I said I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Tyrese
no,
Halliburton or D'Lo?
Tyrese.
Halliburton.
That was a blowout. Halliburton is
McCollum?
going
CJ
crazy.
McCollum?
McCollum.
McCollum.
What about Marcus Smart?
D'Lo. I hate Marcus
D'Lo.
Smart.
I'm not getting Marcus Smart.
D
He's good,
Fox?
but
I hate
D
Marcus
Fox is
Smart.
better. D Fox is better than D'Lo.
Ooh. Who would y'all rather have, Jordan Poole or D'Lo?
Jordan Poole.
Give me
What about you,
Poole.
Rob?
I'll
Desmond
take
Bain?
Jordan Poole. I'll
Hmm.
take D'Lo, but Bane can score.
I'm
Bane's gonna be
taking
good.
Bane. I'm taking Bane.
For the rest of the season, who would you rather have starting at your two guard position?
Oh,
D'Angelo
at two.
Russell or
I'm gonna take Bane.
Tyrese Maxey? Or just
Maxey.
have in your backcourt?
Maxey's definitely better than D'Lo.
Nick Maxey dropped 40 the other day.
Maxey's he's a combo guard. He's nice. Maxey's been
Maxey's
getting off this
Maxey's
year.
the truth. Like Maxey's really like that. He's
Nah,
really
he's
like
like
that.
that. Like
What
he's
about
just a
Cade?
bucket getter.
Cade
Cade, boy,
Cunningham.
Cade, definitely Cade.
Cade by
All right,
far.
I
Cade
think
by
that's gonna
far.
wrap up my few.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, it really hurts. It hurts to
It
take
does.
that many guys over D'Lo. It was probably a
I know. I
time I
wish
would be
D'Lo was
like
an All Star
D'Lo, but
guard again, bruh. I need him to do something like that again.
yeah, it hurts.
But yeah, I mean, yesterday I was watching the highlights of the game. I mean, he wasn't playing bad. I mean, he was smacking some threes. It's not like he was just breaking.
Yeah,
He probably had like 16.
that's the
or
game
something
I
last
was
night.
watching.
16,
That's the game I was
17.
watching because he hit a couple threes. The game I was watching. Who was they playing? Was
Yeah,
that the Knicks?
yeah, it was the Knicks.
Yeah. No, then it wasn't the game I was watching because Gobert played. That nigga airballed a
Oh
three
yeah, I
when
don't
he
think
played
Rudy.
too.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that game. I would have been rolling if I seen Rudy airball a three.
Man, that shit was
That
bad.
looked
Is that gonna
terrible.
wrap up that segment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to our first topic, have we? Damn near 30 minutes in.
I don't think we have. With that being said, does anybody want to bring up one, or do y'all want me to bring up my first one?
You can start off, bro.
Yeah.
With the college basketball starting yesterday, there have been a few upsets so far, which we will get into after this. But I wanted to ask you all, who is your very early prediction to win National College Basketball Player of the Year?
That's a good question.
My early pick, even though he played kind of yesterday, is Trace Jackson Davis. I feel like he'll have a breakout year at Indiana, and I feel like he'll put the entire nation on notice and let everybody know that he is him.
He's been like that though.
But
He's been
exactly,
good.
I believe that he's one of those college players that will just have like his way with any mismatch that he has, because that's really what he is. He's a walking mismatch. The guys that are too big to guard him, they're too slow. The guys that are too little to guard him, he's bullying them into the paint. So I want to see him win National Player of the Year this year, but it's definitely a conversation between him and a few others.
I wouldn't be surprised if Timmy won. I mean, he got easy schedule in Gonzaga. I mean, he's a solid player. He's a good. He's one of those dudes. He's just a good college player. He's definitely gonna have another good year at Gonzaga. So I think outside the non-conference matchups that they got, once they get in conference play, I mean, he's probably gonna be averaging like 22 and 12 or something like that. I mean, and that's real nice in college, and that translates to the league. That's big numbers. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Timmy. That's just the first name that came up. That makes sense to me. If he did it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me too. Just because I feel like he's gonna play a slightly, because he played a big role last year, but I think he's gonna play a slightly, like he's really gonna be the guy this year. Like every play, I think they're gonna be sort of looking his way. So I can see it. I don't know. That's a tough question to ask early on. I didn't even watch all the games that was played over the weekend, but.
Who would your prediction be? Do you have one?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really feel like I might bank off of Rob and say Timmy though, just because I feel like he's the kind of guy that they give those. They have their biases, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
They got their things, but nah, yeah. If I didn't outside of Timmy, I don't really know who I would be going with right now. So nah, I probably would.
I also want to give a shout out to Oscar Sheboy. Oscar Sheboy is, even though I have my personal vendettas against the way that he does play, he did win it last year, and it looks like he could possibly win it again this year.
He can win
but
it too.
I just don't think it'll be as effective as it was last year. People have seen what you can do to stop Oscar Sheboy, and well, not stop him because he's gonna get his rebounds, but really contain him. And we saw that in the first round.
Offensively, stop him because you can box him on offense.
Yeah.
You're not gonna stop him from getting up and down the floor.
And Kentucky, even though they shot well from three yesterday, that's not answering all the questions we have. Even though they'll play Michigan State next week, I don't think that's very good competition so far because Michigan State is looking kind of questionable this year. But I want to see them answer my questions about their shooting. I'm pretty sure they play Gonzaga early on in the schedule. I could double check that, but I'm pretty sure
they do. I think they play.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that game. I think Gonzaga will win that game, but I want to see how well they shoot from three, because that's going to be Kentucky's biggest question this year: is their 3-point shooting, especially with their best player being Oscar Sheboy, who can't shoot the ball outside of 5 feet.
Yeah, and I watched up until halftime of the Kentucky game. I can't watch a lot of Kentucky basketball. It makes me mad. And I don't like to talk about Kentucky because I hate Kentucky a lot. But I genuinely do not think that they are going to be as good as everybody thinks they are this year. Like, I know that we already talked about the questions we have with them, but it's like everybody's blinded because it's Kentucky and everybody still thinks that they're going to overcome. I don't see this being one of the years where they'll figure it out. I don't see them figuring it out this year. I think this is one of the first years that Kentucky just doesn't have the pieces to do what they need to do.
They will be back next year.
Most definitely.
Definitely be back next year. But at the same time, they have NBA talent this year. It's a Kentucky team. They do have an NBA talent. I like Casey Wallace. I like the potential he has to be an NBA player, and Chris Livingston as well. But at the same time, as a college basketball team, I don't think they'll be that special. Is it topics I wanted to bring up?
Since we own the topic of college basketball, big news broke about 3 days ago. Mikey Williams and JJ Traynor are on a visit to Memphis, both verbally committed to play in Memphis next year. So just to get into that, dive into that, how we feel about that as a move for... We're going to talk about the big star first because obviously everybody wants to hear and talk about Mikey. So how do y'all feel like that is as a move for Mikey?
I feel like it is... I want Mikey to do well, absolutely, and I'm a JJ Taylor fan as well. But I don't think that's the right fit for him. I think Kansas was a better fit as well. And my personal reason behind this was because of what they did with
Mm.
Imani Bates. It's whether they're back and forth on if they want to develop talent or if they want to be a good college basketball team. I'm glad that Mikey and JJ will have a year of experience together. I feel like that will help them both going into Memphis. But at the same time, I don't think Mikey will ultimately put on the talent, show the talent that he really does have at Memphis. Um, we know that Memphis can recruit. We know that. They've answered our questions with that. But I want to see if they can win basketball games, and they haven't shown me
Mm-hmm.
that yet. And I want to see Mikey
Mm-hmm.
on a team that can win basketball games, and I want him to contribute to winning basketball. And
Mm-hmm.
I want that to translate into the NBA, which we all know he's going to the NBA. Him and JJ Taylor. So that's not the question. Mikey's an absolute unit on offense, and I praise him for that. But at the same time, I just don't think that Memphis was the right move.
Nah,
What about
facts.
you, Rob?
Uh, yeah, I'm lucky with you, but I mean, I think he's getting what he asked for. Really, I think he's got to go to a program where he's got freedom to do what he wants to do. I think he's one of them. He's one of them type of players. He's definitely going to be a focal point of the offense, and he's going to be looking to take a lot of shots. And I think he'll be able to do that in Memphis. I think he can go there. He can be the guy as long as he's the best player in that class, and he is so far. So I don't even know who Memphis is recruiting right now, but maybe
They
they get
also
it. Maybe
added
they get a.
they added another recruit as well,
Yeah, I seen
David
that.
Tupin. So that'll
Yeah,
help them out
I
as
saw
well.
that too. So Memphis should be solid. I mean, they had two top five players like 2 years ago, and they were like a nine seed. So I mean, the verdict's still out on Penny. Can he coach or not?
Oh, that's what I
And
won't get into.
it's yeah, and
I was just talking about that.
I'm a lean and say he probably can't right now
No
because
facts. That's
he's definitely had a chance to showcase it, and I haven't seen anything. And he's clocking out on the media last year because they questioning him and all that. He can
yeah.
do that, but I mean, you got to start winning
See,
games too. So
and this was
Pretty
my
I
sure
whole
don't
they
know.
thing.
started the season off 0-1, I believe. Let me go check that.
While you check on that,
Uh,
I'm gonna give my opinion on this because I just had a whole big debate about
Go
this
ahead.
yesterday. I think this was
Yeah,
completely the wrong move for Mikey. It was a good money move. It was good for NIL wise. He's gonna get a
yeah, he's
bag
gonna do
wise.
that. Yeah, he's gonna get that anyway.
If you ask me, Mikey should have stayed on the West Coast where he's from, where he belongs. He should have went to UCLA, a proven winning program, a place
Yeah,
where he could have went and got established as a point guard. Because this whole time we've always seen Mikey when he has the keys to do what he wants. In the NBA, I think that he's gonna have to learn to be more of a not that he's gonna be a role player. I put him in a box like that if he does do those things, but he's got to learn how to play a good brand of team basketball. He would have went to
yeah,
UCLA, played a good brand of team basketball. So I think that that would have been the best decision for him. And I think that Memphis is such a bad decision because, like you said, like we just talked about, can Penny coach? I'm gonna answer the question. I don't think Penny is that great of a coach. Not that Penny
mm,
can't become a good coach, but he's kind of in the same position that we just watched with Steve Nash. Somebody who was threw into a spot based off of nothing but their name. If Penny never played at Memphis, he wouldn't have got the job at Memphis. So it's just like Mikey needs to go somewhere where he can get the coaching he needs for the next level. He's not going to get that at Memphis because at the very least, we know that Memphis isn't really they're not being a program that's playing the brand of winning basketball. So he might go there and develop his scoring a little bit more, or he might go there and get prepared for the NBA. But he's not going to be prepared to play a brand of winning basketball. I don't think that Memphis is
yeah,
going to be that great of a team with Mikey and JJ. Like I
yeah.
just
I agree with that.
I
I
just think there's
definitely
a
agree
lot
with
more
that.
places he could have went. Even Oregon or something would have been better out for him.
Yeah, no, Penny's definitely a player coach, than rather than an X and O coach right now. He's
Absolutely.
definitely yeah.
I would
That's
like to
awesome.
apologize. They beat Vanderbilt yesterday by 9 points, but they do have a few tough teams coming up, which will be interesting to watch, and we'll keep our eye on most definitely. They have St. Louis, VCU, and then Seton Hall in their next three battles, and then they're going into a preseason tournament with Oklahoma, who just got upset yesterday, which was very surprising. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Florida State, Stanford, Ole Miss, and Siena. So Well, they'll definitely be tested on early in the season and they also play Auburn and Alabama back to back. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how Memphis plays in their non-conference schedule, which they do have a tough non-conference schedule so far. I mean, this season, but it'll be interesting to see if they can win some basketball games this year and get into the tournament. Uh, they do have an interesting roster.
So
All right. Anybody else had any topics they wanted to cover?
along college basketball right now, because we'll stay on college basketball while we're here. If there's anything else anybody wanted to say about any teams, like I said, I didn't catch much. I was watching some football.
Yeah,
NBA
I
stuff.
watched a few of the games yesterday. Oklahoma got upset, which was crazy. USC lost as well, and let's see, who did they lose to? Basketball. Neither of these teams
Yeah,
are
really get
ranked,
to check
but
any action. For either. I caught a little bit of the Baylor game.
Yeah, I watched some of
yeah,
the Baylor game
Baylor
too.
looked super good
Fletcher
this
was
year.
tough.
Who do you all think will be the best freshman this year?
Uh, I was
That's a good question.
I was
I'm trying
super
to think.
high
I need
on
to look at the
Keontae.
class again.
Yeah, I was super high on
All the class.
Keontae when he was coming in, and he had a really good season opener. He was making a lot of shots. I think he'll be upper definitely. Nick Smith. I watched Arkansas. I watched the Arkansas game. Nick Smith didn't play that game, or he didn't play when I was watching. They was blowing that
He
team out.
didn't play.
Okay. Anthony Black, he looked really good in that game too. He made a lot of freshman mistakes, but that'll work itself out. So I think that Nick Smith
Freshman
probably
just
has a. I think that Nick Smith is the best player in his class, talent wise. He has to execute and show me that. Grady had a good outing. I seen that.
Yeah,
oh,
Grady
Grady
did
was
have a
super
good game.
good.
Yeah, I was just about to bring him up. I swear, I was like, I did catch a little bit of his highlights, and I see him. He's looking good. His jump shot's nice,
Mm.
and he's looking a
Yeah,
little athletic too. So he's got
yeah, he
some
has.
NBA upside.
And he's like six
Yeah,
eight.
he's
I
talented.
didn't know he
Yeah,
was
he's
that.
6'8".
I knew he was big. I didn't know he was that big. He
Yeah, no,
finishes
he's tall
around the
now.
rim
He need to
too.
add it. Yeah, he can add a little weight. He's a little skinny right now, but he's got the tools. He definitely got the
Next
tools right now.
next week we'll have a lot of content on Tuesday coming up. Well, that's one thing we can do next week. We can give our predictions on the championship classic coming up. Even though the games will be kind of iffy, it depends on if Duke will have their two best players back out on the court. Derek Lively and Derek Whitehead didn't get to play yesterday in their season opener. It looked like Duke was struggling a little bit in the opening of the first half, but they got that all together. Filipowski played good. So did Mark Mitchell. Mark Mitchell played out of his mind. We'll see where that goes, where he fits into the rotation. I think he'll be very well. I think he'll really show that he's really a forgotten star on this Duke team once Derek Whitehead and Derek Lively come back. But it'll be interesting to see where they go. And that brings me into my point. I wanted to say that Derek Whitehead he'll show why he's the best scorer in this class, in my opinion. And on top of
Yeah,
that, in my opinion, he'll be the best freshman, best college freshman this year. I don't think he'll get drafted the highest out of all the freshmen, most definitely not. But I do, he's definitely going top 10 in my opinion. And if he can get through this injury real quick and just come back and play consistent, which is his biggest question going into this year, I think he'll be the best college freshman. And yeah, no, it'll just be interesting to see where he fits in with that Duke team,
So
with a lot of young talent on that team.
you think that Derek Whitehead scored the ball better than Nick Smith?
Yeah. I think he scores better than Keontae George and Nick Smith.
hey, I
Mm.
was about to say, you think he scores better than Keontae?
I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie,
I believe that.
Keontae looked so comfortable in that Oregon game. Like I just remember it was one time he ripped through, did a one dribble pull up, and just hit a sass. Like he looks like he's just super comfortable out there. I don't know.
Yeah,
And we didn't
he
get to
looked
like
at
you
a
said.
high
Nick
school
Smith
too. I
didn't.
mean,
Nick Smith didn't play.
We seen them play against each other a couple times. Montverde versus
Yeah,
IMG, and Keontae George was getting off every game. Derek Whitehead was getting off too, but
yeah, absolutely.
scoring the ball,
So that'll be
it might be
that'll be a
Keontae.
good question I wanted to ask y'all. So who do y'all think is the best scorer out of those three? Nick Smith Jr., Derek Whitehead, or Keontae George?
I might go Keontae just off the top of my, just based off what I've seen in high school. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they come out and how they play for the whole season and see who can stay consistent and who washes out. But From what I've seen from Keontae, he's a three-level scorer. He finishes at the rim. He's not crazy athletic, but he's athletic enough to finish over the top. His jump shot is real smooth, silky smooth. He's got a nice mid-range game. He just got a nice feel for the game, and he's just wired to score. He's got a high upside. I like him on the defensive end too. I know he's not a slouch on that end either. But even though we're not talking about defense, my bad. I got into a little player breakdown. But just scoring the ball, nah, he's a pro at putting the ball in the hoop. And that's exactly why he's gonna go probably lottery, just based off his scoring talent alone.
No, I see. I think Derek is the worst scorer out of the three, and it's not like this is a far off thing. It's here, and here. It's neck and neck. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that Keontae has the ability to get hot really quickly. Like he'll make
yeah,
one shot, then
he
the
be
next thing
burning.
you know, he'll make the next five shots. So just off of that, I probably would give it to Keontae. But then I think that Nick Smith is really close behind him because he scores easily. You know, a guy who can just like it seems like every bucket he gets is easy. That's Nick
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smith. So I think
yeah.
that
Nick
he's
Smith
not
is a
too far
bucket
off.
too.
But
That,
Derek's a
that,
bucket too. All three of them
yeah,
are a bucket.
absolutely. You can't go wrong with any of the three. All
Yeah,
three of those top tier talents, and they're all three going lottery. And they'll all three be making noise in the NBA as well, scoring buckets. My next
yeah.
question will be, well, talking on the same line as college freshmen this year. We all know who the first center is going to be going off the board, which is going to be Victor Wembanyama. But who would you guys rather draft? Even though Khalil Ware didn't start yesterday, which was kind of a question for me, but who would you guys rather take off the board if you need a center? Would you rather take Derek Lively or Khalil Ware out of Oregon?
I'm gonna
That's
take
tough.
Lively. Um, I mean, Ware is good. I haven't seen a lot of him. I've seen a little bit of him. I know he's good around the rim and he's a nice rim protector. But I think Lively's taller. He's got a bigger wingspan. So off a metric standpoint, he's definitely got the better body as of right now, or more potential with that once he adds on some weight and does whatever he does. But he can block shots better than Ware right now. And I don't know if Ware can shoot. I need to look at some film on him, but I know Lively can stretch the floor out a little bit. He's shown the ability to knock down the three ball and finish at the rim at a pretty high level too and catch lobs. So that's why he's the number one player in the class. So I'm gonna go with Lively.
Yeah, I think that Lively's just he's your prototype NBA big that you would look for today. A guy that is athletic, that can run the floor, that can stretch the floor, but can still finish inside. He needs to put on some weight, which he's gonna put on some weight before the draft. Like I don't know how much weight he's gonna put up on and during this college season, but before he's drafted, he's gonna have to put on probably like 15 pounds. So when he does that, it just gets even scarier for everybody. So I think the upside, like Lively ceiling, I think he's definitely the most mobile big in this draft class. He's more mobile to me than Victor, and not saying that he's better than Victor or anything like that, because it's not close at all. But he gets up and down the court for his size better than most guys in the league right now. So
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with that.
And he's gonna block those shots too.
Yeah,
Like,
got stupid long wingspan.
yeah,
Yeah, be a nice matchup. Number one overseas player versus number one player in the states.
yeah. You
That'd be
guys,
a pretty good matchup to see.
you guys want to take it back to the NBA
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
before we wrap up? How long do we have?
We
Let's see.
have 50 minutes right now.
Okay, yeah.
Rob, did you have
Anybody else have a
a
topic?
topic you wanted to get
Yeah.
into?
I was gonna bring in y'all's MVP candidates, just like y'all's top three right now. I know NBA is
Early
gonna release them.
MVP?
Yeah, just early MVP, early season
We're a month into the season, so
predictions.
yeah.
Um, the way the Bucks are playing, it's. I know Giannis is the easy answer, but I mean that's why it's the
So
easy answer. I
look,
mean he's
let's
been
all give
playing
our top three,
great.
and then we'll go around and let everybody explain their top three. So we start with Cam, then do me, then Rob. So everybody
All
get
right,
they top three real quick.
All right, my top three is gonna be Luca, Giannis, and John Morant.
Hmm, that's a tough three. I My three, I'm gonna have Giannis at one, Luka at 2, and then I think that Jokic should be back in the MVP race before the season is over.
I like that top three. I'm gonna go Giannis at 1. I'm gonna go Luka at 2 because he's been on a tear, and then I'm gonna go Steph at 3. And Steph had a crazy game yesterday.
Yeah.
He was crazy efficient game, and he just had one of them nights where when Steph gets in that mode where the Warriors start losing, kind of like that mode he got into when they were a playing team. They lost to the Grizzlies, where all he was doing was just getting buckets for him and scoring all these high amounts of points because his supporting cast wasn't doing what they normally do, and he had 47 last night, and they only won by what, 2 or 3. I got to
No,
catch
yeah,
the
they
end of
won
the
by
game,
3.
but
And
yeah,
they
they won
should.
by
By the way, that
3.
call was so stupid. They shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
If you
Um.
guys got to see it,
Mm.
Yeah. So, they're in back and forth games with the Kings, and Steph's almost got 50. So I mean, the Warriors got a lot to figure out, but I think if Steph gets in that mode and then they start to win games, like kind of like how they were doing in the play-in, I think Steph would be in the MVP convo for sure. Because I mean, remember last year, he had the stretch at the beginning of the season where he was looking like he was going for that third MVP. But I mean, he kind of washed out and he went cold. He went cold. If you think about it, last year was like the worst shooting year in Steph's career, just percentage wise. And it still seemed like he was out there just blazing shots like he always does. So
He
I want to
was.
see him
I'm
get
gonna
back
have,
into,
I'm gonna
yeah.
have to disagree with you. I don't think I'm not even putting Steph even after last night's performance in my top 5 of the MVP race right now, mainly
You don't think
because of the
Steph's gonna
last
finish
few.
top five? No, no, no. I
Not
wouldn't
not
say
right now.
these are just
So
predictions.
far,
These are just predictions. Like
predictions.
for the season. Like I'm
Okay,
saying,
well,
if
obviously,
Steph
I
if
feel
Steph
like
can
Steph
do
is going to
that,
step it back up, but at the
yeah.
same time, as of right now, if the a race so far in the first month of
Oh
basketball,
yeah,
I don't think
Donovan's
he's
in
proven
there.
himself. Yeah,
Donovan's in the top three.
Donovan's in
Facts.
the top 5. I would put him number 4 right now, right below John
Josh,
Morant.
If
Josh,
I'm
Josh.
if I'm being
That's
if
a
I'm being
toss up.
all the way
That's a toss
honest,
up.
I think that the old guys are really done. Like I think that Steph, KD, none of them guys are really gonna see an MVP again. So
Yeah, they
I
might not. Steph's gonna have to turn the clock back a little bit to get the MVP, and then the Warriors just gonna have to finish the top of the East. He had a great chance. He had a great chance to do it last year. I wish he didn't go cold
hey that
because he was
that clip
averaging
finna
like
be
30.
crazy, Kale.
You said what?
That clip finna be crazy. What you just did.
But
No,
nah,
my fault,
I see
Rob.
what you did. No, you good. But yeah, that. But the top three right now, I'll go Giannis, Luka, Donovan, and then I put Ja at 4, and then maybe Devin Booker can get in that top 5 because he's still playing
Yeah,
good basketball out there in Phoenix. So
I think that as of right now, Jokic is definitely not. He's really not even in the top 5 for MVP race right now. I think
no, he'll pick it
he's
back.
yeah he's bound to pick it up, and due to the fact that he's just back to back them, that he's gonna still be in the race. But I don't see him winning. I think that really this is Luka's year. Luka to get his first MVP year. We already talked about them having voter fatigue with Giannis, but due to them having that voter fatigue with Giannis for so long and him still keeping up this level of play, I would want to see Giannis get one because he really deserved one for the last 2 years.
Yeah,
33, 12, and 5 for Giannis right now.
That's what he's
and he's
averaging.
9-1
Yeah,
with the
and
best
he's not
record
a
in the
one.
East,
Like,
Yep.
come
best
on.
record in the NBA
How's that not your
without his
MVP?
second best
He's
player.
the most
Well,
valuable player.
because Luca is right there with 36, 9, and 9.
Look at the
He is,
records
Well,
though.
technically, he's
but team
averaging
success,
36.1 and 8.9 and
team
9.
success factors into that a
It
lot
does.
too. And
It does.
Giannis, when
But
you got his
Luca's
best
going
player, you
insane.
could, yeah, no, Luka's going stupid. But
He is.
you could say that the Bucks may be 10-0 if Middleton starts the season off. I mean, they're 9-1, and they haven't even had him yet. So him and Holiday have been playing great basketball. Brooke Lopez has been playing pretty good. Grayson Allen's still shooting the lights out of the ball. So and he's finding them. What people don't understand about Giannis is he's not just a guy who's going to dunk on you and get rebounds, and he's doing more than that. He's setting up his teammates. That's why he averages 5 assists. And the year before, he averaged like 5.8, and the year before, he averaged like 5 point whatever. He's getting his teammates he's setting up his teammates for great shots, and he's getting wide open looks for guys like Drew Holiday, and even Brooke Lopez is feasting off of the attention he draws in the paint. And Giannis can kick it out to Brook Lopez, and he can hit the occasional three. Bobby Portis is hitting threes. They're a great 3-point shooting team. Pat Connaughton's not even back. He's another great 3-point shooter that Giannis uh, great, gives great looks to. So, yeah, I like what I'm seeing from him. The Bucks playing great basketball. I would definitely bet on them to win the championship if their team's fully healthy, even over the Warriors. Just because I think Giannis is probably too much.
I can see
Tim
that.
Middleton, I think Giannis is probably going to be one of the best players we see. He's definitely going to be one of the best players we see in our lifetime. He already is, but he's going to end up being one of the greats. Like
Just
Hey,
gotta
I
see
would probably put
people
Giannis.
accept it.
Like you can't name 30 players all time better than Giannis right
oh
now,
hell
and
nah.
he's in his prime.
Giannis might be
Giannis
the
is
best power forward of all time.
yeah. When it's all said and done, and it's going to take him hard.
Maybe
Now it's
right
going to
now.
take him a minute to catch up to Timmy. It's going to take him a minute to catch up
Okay,
to Timmy.
I like that
Because
though. You said
Timmy,
Giannis is in his prime right now, right?
yeah.
Are you taking this prime version of Giannis, or are you taking prime Tim Duncan? 2000 and
Honest.
2003 Tim Duncan.
Honest. Prime
I'm
Giannis. Prime
I'm
Giannis.
going. Look, I love Giannis. Look, Tim Duncan. I'm gonna give him his flowers. He's definitely the GOAT power forward. The only thing is though, Tim Duncan is just a winner. Like he is really
Efficient.
just a winner, and he's gonna give you 25, 12 with 2, 3 block. And he's a lead on both ends. So there was multiple years where Tim Duncan was one of the best two-way player in the league. So
Facts.
he's locking up. He gave Shaq a little bit of trouble. Shaq wasn't just bulldozing Tim Duncan. I mean, Tim Duncan is an all-time defender too. And Giannis is a great defender, but Tim Duncan is better on the defensive end, and he's not gonna score as many points as Giannis, but he's definitely gonna have an impact. So when he's in his prime, there's not any power forward better than Tim Duncan. But if anybody has something to say about it, it is Giannis. So this is more of a term of who's greater that I'm getting into, just because I want to give Tim Duncan his flowers. Because I mean, he's got 2 MVPs, he's got 5 rings, he's
Nah,
5-1 in the
facts,
finals.
facts.
Yeah,
I,
but I
I,
don't know. It's closer than what people would think. Giannis he's so good.
this
Talent
is
wise,
how,
he might be the best
this is
power
how I
forward.
feel about it. When we talking about the best power forward, Tim Duncan is the best traditional power forward in my eyes.
Yeah,
He's dumb efficient. I would love it. It's like when you're picking these two people to have on your team, you can't really go wrong. But
yeah. No, you definitely can't go wrong.
what we seen from Giannis on that championship run, I've never seen Tim Duncan do in my life. I've never seen Tim
Mm-mm.
Duncan be that much of a dog. And
Mm-mm. And he never
as
had to.
he didn't have to. He didn't have to. And he was under Popovich. He had a great system. They had a great thing going on.
Yeah,
But
great.
having that is something that a lot of basketball players damn near wish they could have. Like a lot of people in basketball really wish they could do what Giannis did. And Giannis
Yeah,
made it look easy. I don't think that we're gonna see too many people do the things that Giannis do. So it's really hard for me not to take Giannis over Tim Duncan. Matter of fact, I am gonna
yeah.
take Giannis over Tim Duncan. I need
And
Make a
Giannis.
I be
confession, right?
arguing with this. I be
Tim,
my
Tim
bad, Kev.
Duncan. Tim Duncan's legacy is overrated to me,
Oh
honestly.
shit, now
But
he's
Whoa,
saying
here's
something.
here's why.
I don't know
Here's
about
why.
that.
Here's why. He has 5 championships, right? In
Yeah.
my opinion, it wasn't his team yet for the first two. That was still David
No,
Robinson.
no, 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 no,
Even
no.
you can argue
We've
who
been
was the
arguing
best
about
player on
this.
the team.
We've been arguing
You
about
can
this before,
argue who
Kev.
was
I
the
was
best
just
player
about
on
to
the
bring it
team.
up.
I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying that Tim. I mean, I'm not saying that David Robinson was better than Tim Duncan, but I still say that it was David Robinson's team for the
Okay,
first
now
two.
that's a fact.
Tim
It was
Duncan's a
his team.
rookie.
It was
He
his
wanted him to
team.
come
Obviously,
in.
obviously,
He
at
wanted
the
him to
same
come in
time,
and say, "Come on, Admiral, it's me now." But
but
in terms of production, people knew Tim Duncan. Look, I was just about to bring that up, comparing Tim Duncan and Giannis. Now it took Giannis a couple years to get established in the league, and once he got established, he's been playing out of his mind. But Tim
here's why.
Duncan came out the gates.
But
He
here's
came
why.
out the gates doing this as a
Tim
rookie. He was
Duncan.
one of the
There,
best bigs in the league as a rookie.
there is not a single player in the NBA history that has ever been in a better predicament than Tim Duncan. And I can't take that away from him. He
Draymond
got
Green.
drafted into a great situation. It's not his fault that he got drafted into one of the greatest franchises of all time. However, he had arguably top 3 coach of all time in Greg Popovich for his entire career. He
Yeah,
had David Robinson when he first came in. David Robinson got old, then he got passed away. Well, not like he got passed like off out of the basketball world, and then he got Manu. He had Tony Parker. Like he never had a team where he had even questionable to no help. Manu came in from overseas, showing everybody that overseas players can get it done. Tony Parker came in, he was showing everybody that he can get it done too. And then guess what? Guess who comes in and just joins the team late when Tim Duncan's getting up there in age? Kawhi Leonard out there locking up LeBron. Well, not locking up LeBron, but he's giving LeBron queries
Now that
that
nigga put clamps
LeBron
on
ain't never
LeBron
seen in his
sometimes.
life.
Kawhi
Tim
really
Duncan,
clamped up LeBron a couple of times though.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
like
done had some. He's done had his moments.
there's clips of LeBron looking back and seeing Kawhi getting checked into the game and being like,
Yeah,
"Damn, people like Tim Duncan had his way with the franchise that he was on. Nobody had
yeah.
an easier path through their career than Tim Duncan did, and Tim Duncan is a great player. But Giannis didn't get drafted into it. The reason Giannis took so long to get established, even though he didn't have his body yet, he didn't have the shot that he had yet. He still was developing. It would have came a lot quicker if he had Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili out there with him, and then randomly Kawhi Leonard just joins this team. I'm sitting here
But if
telling
you
you
think
that Tim
about it,
Duncan, his legacy is a little bit overrated in my opinion.
Hey, look, if you think about it though, Tony Parker and Manu weren't on the team before Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan got drafted in 90. I think he got drafted in 98, I believe. I think he drafted in 1998.
Yeah, I
And
know.
Tony Parker and Manu weren't on the team.
That's what I'm saying. I know,
Yeah,
I know,
David
but
Robinson.
he had David Robinson. He had Avery Johnson, who was a very good point guard.
if not
Avery
better.
Johnson was very good. But I'm saying once he came into that a very good situation with a good coach and a good bench, and as soon as that situation starts dying down, it never even died down because as soon as it kind of looked questionable, they had Tony Parker and Manu, and then they had a good bench throughout his entire career as well. They never had any teams that were even kind of questionable, and I mean that's just good. That's just a good front office right there. But at the same time, his 5 championships don't say as much to me as Kobe's or anybody else that you could throw into the conversation of the 9 to 13 range.
Oh no. The Spurs gave Lakers trouble.
They had a lot of they had a lot better of a team.
I
I
can see where Cam's coming from though.
can see where he's coming from too, but I think when you get into more of the situation that they brought into, Greg Popovich became one of the best coaches of all time because they decided to draft Tim Duncan. If they don't draft Tim Duncan, Pop isn't an all-time coach, or he isn't as high as he is now if he doesn't get Tim Duncan.
You can say that about any coach, like Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson wouldn't be shit without MJ. You can say that. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I gotta disagree with that though. I gotta disagree with that though. Because Pop is still coaching shit right now. Pop is still coaching. Pop is still being a great coach with no pieces right now. I think Pop is just a good coach.
Yeah, no, he is a great coach. I ain't taking that away.
We're saying what started them off, what got them like.
He would have been good without. He would have been good without Tim, in my opinion.
Yeah, but Tim Duncan's a large reason why he got 5 rings.
Okay. Yeah.
At the gold power forward, the center of his championship. So I'm just saying they're in unison. They both went to the top together. It's not he was up here and Greg Popovich had to grab Tim Duncan and bring him up here. No, Tim Duncan was that when he came in the league, and that's why he's one of the best. And he's consistent. You know what you're going to get from him. He's always consistent. From 98 until 2013, he was probably the best power forward in the league for all those years in a row. The only toss-up years are going to be when you compare him to somebody like Shaq, and that's an all-time great.
Whoa. What was the last year that you said?
2013. Whenever we're going to the finals.
He was a top 2 power forward in the league in 2013.
You said?
Did you say top 2 of the best?
He was one of. Yeah. No, I would. I'm not taking name a power forward.
Kevin Garnett.
Dirk.
Kevin Garnett from 2008 to 2009, 2010 was better than Tim Duncan in my opinion.
I don't know about that, but I was just about to say the only power forward that's going up there is KG, and I was gonna say because KG got an MVP year,
Dirk,
in the depoy.
Dirk as well.
Dirk maybe had a season where he could talk some shit a little bit, but I don't know if I don't know if you taking him over Tim Duncan.
In
What was
my
that?
opinion, Tim Duncan was
2012?
sharing his flowers when he was in his prime. Tim Duncan had people eating off his plate, in my opinion, like for
Facts.
the best, not
What
just
was
for taking rings away. I'm talking about who was the best power forward at their position.
2012? Was 2012 the year that the Mavs went against the Heat?
Nah, it was
Yes.
20.
2011.
Yeah,
2011, yeah. Dirk was better
Dirk
that
in
year.
2011 was way better and way more important to the Mavs than Tim Duncan was to the Spurs.
I
Absolutely.
don't know that
Absolutely.
they didn't even have Kawhi. They didn't even have Kawhi back then. It was just Manu, Tony
The
Parker.
20 you what did you say? 2013?
Yeah, 2013. They went to the
They went to
finals.
the finals. The
Did you see
2013
Tim Duncan?
Spurs. The
Did
2013
you
Spurs. I remember that year. I remember. Yeah, I remember, nigga. The
do you
20.
remember that game 7 where he didn't miss the shot for like the first
I no
three,
no.
4.
Yeah, he hooped. That he hooped.
He was
He was
hooping.
hooping.
This is old Tim Duncan, bad knees, bad. This is
Yeah,
old Tim.
yeah, yeah, but you're forgetting how they got there because of how good that basketball team was. Tim
Facts.
Duncan wasn't doing that the whole season. He had one good game. We'll give it to him. He played amazing
I
in
don't
that
know about.
one game.
I'm
But
looking up Duncan stats. That's what I
they're
was.
not
I got.
they're not getting there without having Kawhi that entire season. They're not getting there without Tony Parker
20.
being a pure point guard and almost putting the team on his back
Hold
with
on.
Manu.
2011.
I mean,
What we was just talking about. 2013
Tim,
Tim Duncan is a great hooper. I remember that game 7. He hooped his ass off that game 7. 2011 Dirk. Who was on the 2011 Mavs team with him that you can name right
Jason,
now? Jason
37
Terry.
year old. I mean, Jason Terry was on that team, but was Jason Kidd on that team when he was like 53?
No, I don't. I don't think he
Yeah,
was. Was
Jason
he on
Old.
there?
It's and
Either way. Dirk had J.J. Barrera. Yeah, Jason Kidd was on there. Jason Terry and fucking Sean Marion.
Yeah, Sean Marion.
Dirk put that team on his back, all the way
yeah,
on
no,
his back. Tim Duncan did not have to put the 2013 Spurs on his back. Dirk was way
Yeah.
more valuable and way better that year than Tim Duncan was.
yeah, Tim Duncan's starting to get old in age. But I mean, Dirk's young, definitely younger than him. His prime lasted more into the 2010s than Tim Duncan would. But I mean, Tim Duncan from 98 to 20 to the 2010s, from when that decade started, he was the best big in the league for a consistent amount of years.
When?
Consistent for.
When?
Are you
Because
serious?
he wasn't better than Shaq at the beginning. So you can eliminate 98 through 2003, 2004.
And I mean, that's what I mean. Shaq. I mentioned Shaq's name. I
Okay,
mentioned
so
Shaq's
from 98 to 2004, you got
Shaq's alive
Shaq.
though.
He's not better than Shaq. From 2000
I
and
don't toss up though. That's a toss up
that's
because
not a toss
Shaq
up. That's
is getting
not.
more. Look, Shaq
That is
is getting more.
crazy.
But are you rich? All time, Shaq and Tim Duncan are like this. If y'all don't know,
No,
No.
are you
no,
serious? Are you serious?
No.
Look,
no,
I think I got Tim
no.
Duncan ranked. I do. I got Tim Duncan ranked higher than Shaq in my top 10. I've
Man,
done
yeah,
said that before.
that's crazy. I'm not gonna
I've
lie,
done
that's
said that before.
crazy.
That's not
You have
crazy.
Tim Duncan
Look,
over Shaquille O'Neal all time.
yes.
Shaq's the most dominant player to touch a basketball.
Most dominant player to ever touch a basketball.
He is. He is. I'm not disagreeing with y'all. But I got Tim Duncan with a little edge. He just
Okay.
got a little edge.
Okay.
I like Tim Duncan over him. I'll take the GOAT at their position rather than the non-GOAT at their position. Shaq's not
But
the
the center
GOAT. So.
position has a lot more depth to it.
Facts.
If Tim Duncan was a center, he's not better than Kareem. He's not better than Hakeem.
But he's not. He's better than Hakeem. Hakeem's not better than Tim Duncan. He's not. Hakeem's top 10. He's not better than Tim Duncan.
Hakeem's not better than Tim Duncan?
No.
So where do you put Tim Duncan in your top 10?
Like 7?
Hakeem's not top 5?
Hakeem? No, Hakeem's not top 5. Are you drunk? Hakeem's nice. He's top 10. He's not top 5. You shouldn't
Hakeem
have him
ain't
that
top
high.
5, but Tim
That's too
Duncan ain't
high.
top 7. Tim
If Hakeem's not top 5, Tim Duncan's not top 7.
Kobe? Wait, you said what?
If Hakeem's not top 5, Tim Duncan's not top 7.
No.
Oh.
Hakeem is barely top 10. Hakeem's like 9.
Oh,
I might
you're
have Hakeem.
fucking drunk.
I got Steph over Hakeem. I got Steph over Hakeem in my top 10. Probably got Steph at like 8. Maybe Hakeem can go at 9 or something like that. But I know he's not over Tim Duncan. I know that, and neither is Shaq. He's
You forget what Shaq was doing, bro? Shaq was going stupid.
compare their resumes, man. Tim Duncan had
Bro,
a big career this year.
forget the resumes,
Even from an individual
bro,
standpoint, y'all
bro.
talking about
No, from an individual standpoint, forget the
he's got
resumes.
more.
Listen,
Shaq's
listen.
got one MVP.
You are the coach of the. We're gonna do the same thing that Chris did. You the coach of the New York Knicks. One night, y'all about to play the Orlando Magic with a prime Shaq. Matter of fact, fuck it, y'all playing the Lakers with a prime Shaq. The next night, y'all playing Tim Duncan with him in the Spurs. Who is more of a defensive focus for you, Shaq or Tim Duncan?
Shaq. I would say that he's better on offense. That don't mean he's a better player. He's better on offense, but Tim Duncan's better on
So Tim
defense.
Duncan's a way better defender than Shaq.
He's not a way better defender, but Tim Duncan's an all-time defender. This is one.
So
This
is Shaq.
Who was the better rebounder?
Shaq.
Stop
Shaq.
it.
Shaq.
Stop it.
Do you look
Stop
up?
it.
I want to see these stats.
I'm looking at him right now. The only argument that I could have for Tim Duncan would be his longevity. That was the only thing that he had over Tim Duncan, in my opinion. That's it.
Have you watched them play? Shaq had fits with Tim Duncan. He was not having his way with Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan gave him fits, and he gave him buckets too. If you pull up their head-to-head series, you can watch it on YouTube. It's a whole video about them going head-to-head in their prime. This is Laker Shaq versus young Tim Duncan. They were going back and forth.
I just wanted to point out that Tim Duncan never, his highest that he's ever averaged, which was one season, was 25. Other than that, he never had any other seasons that he even averaged over 23 points, and that was in 2002. Shaquille O'Neal had a run of averaging 29, 26, 26, 28, 26, 29, 28, 27, 27.
He sounds like he's the better offensive player, which
What
he
was
is.
his career
I'm
high?
disagreeing with that. What's Shaq's career rebounding average? That's what I want to look up.
His career, you know, Shaq played for a very long time, and he fell off near the end of his career, and he was playing with the Boston Celtics, and he was averaging 4 rebounds a game. But at the same time, he still averaged 10.9 rebounds, so 11 rebounds his entire career. Over the entirety of his career.
Okay, look, Tim Duncan averaged over 10 boards from 1998 to 2009. I'm looking at it right now. 11.9, 11.
Okay.
12.4,
Okay.
12.7, 12.9.
Shaq averaged over 11 rebounds from 1992 to 2004. That is a decade and plus 2 years of averaging over 11 rebounds, and he was averaging 13 for most of them. 13.9 in his first season in the league. That's a rookie.
Great. Same thing.
What it sounds like to me.
Tim Duncan, 10 boards. Tim Duncan averaged 10 boards, I guarantee, for the same amount of years as Shaq. I guarantee.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's a better, but I'm saying that's not a deciding factor.
Okay.
When it comes to,
so if
Rob, I know you, and you don't want to get into the final stats with Shaq and Tim Duncan. I'm not a final stats type of guy, so I'm not going to go there. But Shaq's final stats are
they are crazy. But Tim Duncan just, I think the Lakers asked more of Shaq. Shaq's got to do that for the Lakers. We need you getting 40 and 15 for the series against the Pacers. If the Spurs play the Pacers, they win that series. They win it in the same amount of game as Lakers, but Tim Duncan's just gonna average 28 and 12 with 3 blocks and 60% field goal percentage, and he's gonna win the Finals MVP.
Shaq had Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Shaq had Kobe.
Kobe don't pass the ball. If Shaq had Tony Parker,
man,
it's gonna be the same thing.
Oh, bro, what are you talking about?
It's gonna be the same thing. Look. Kobe shot a lot of shots. He did. That's one star. Tim Duncan also had to share the ball with other people too. David Robinson also has to get his touches. That's like a top 25 player of all time.
That was 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Even after that, Tony Parker still shoots the ball.
He passed the ball.
Tony Parker was a passing point guard.
He was a passing point guard, but he still got. I'm saying these dudes still got shots up. If I look at
Not
Tim Duncan,
Kobe shots. Kobe don't pass
look,
the ball. Kobe
bro.
told the best player on the team to get my rebound. Tony Parker ain't doing that.
No, y'all just talking about from a player standpoint. I get what y'all are saying, but what I'm saying is Tim Duncan had to share the ball and do a lot too. And I guarantee you he would do more if he had more touches. That's just how it works. All you have to do is look at percentages. If Tim Duncan takes, let's see, let me just look at a prime year. Okay, this year he averaged 25. Let's see how many field goal attempts. Field goal attempts per game in 2000 what? 2? Okay. 2002 field goal attempts per game. Let's see. Okay, he's averaging 18 shots a game. How many shots is Shaq averaging just on average in a prime year?
Hello.
Field goal attempts. In his prime, I'm gonna say 2021.
21. Okay, so I mean
This is his career high.
yeah, he's getting more touches than him. He's more of a focal point of the offense, and he has to do more for the Lakers to win more than
What was
Tim.
Tim Duncan's?
Tim Duncan's was 18. So I mean that's 6 points on the board right there, or a couple free throws here and there or whatever. So Shaq's definitely a better player on offense, but I'm saying Tim Duncan's not no slouch, and he's gonna make up for it on the defensive end too, because he's a two-way
I
go.
mean,
You gotta watch them play. That's y'all's homework for the week. Y'all watch Tim Duncan play against Shaq, and y'all gonna see Tim Duncan is not one of them, and Shaq is way bigger than Tim Duncan.
I'm
So there's
not.
no excuse.
I'm not saying that Tim Duncan is ever been a slouch or Tim Duncan was never not that guy, because Tim Duncan was 1,000% that guy. But from
Yeah,
any
but
standpoint that I look at this comparison, basketball wise, Shaq's always the outcome. If I'm a coach and I'm looking to get one of these players, Shaq. If I'm a coach and I have to stop one of these players, Shaq. If I'm drafting, Shaq. Either way it goes, I'm picking up Shaq out of these two. There's never a time when I'm picking Tim Duncan.
Never.
Okay.
And
And then let Tim Duncan go somewhere else, and you leave out a potential that he wins more championships because you didn't pick him. See, if the Lakers would have picked up Tim, you said what?
my argument is this: if you put Shaq in that system, he has way more than 5 rings. Way
I don't know
more.
about-
I don't know about way more than 5 rings.
Okay. Listen. Another thing I wanted to bring up was with Shaq was, do you still have Tim Duncan stats pull up?
Yeah.
Okay. What's his career high average on a season in blocks, and then what is his career average in blocks? Huh?
His career average in blocks is 2.2, which is pretty good, and his highest is 2.9. So 3 blocks a game in 2003.
Okay. Shaq has 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 4 seasons over 2.9 blocks, and he also averaged 2.3 blocks his entire
You
career.
can't beat that, man.
So, I mean, what? Tim Duncan averaged 2.2? We're talking about a tenth of a difference?
I'm
Shaq
saying
Ain't
played
not a better-
7. Shaq played 7 years of bullshit. So you got to include the 7 years that Shaq played when he was being a sports post, like a spokesperson. He was barely playing.
just getting tossed around the league with the Suns and the Cavaliers just because he wanted to play with LeBron and he wanted to play with the Celtics, and just cause.
Longevity. That's when you get into longevity, because I guarantee you, if we compare the ages of them, they're probably the same age, and Tim Duncan is still produce and do what he's supposed to do. It's not my fault. Shaq wants to go in Boston, and
You're right. That's what I was saying. I was saying the only assets I'm taking from Tim Duncan over Shaquille O'Neal is longevity, free throw shooting, and turnovers. That's really it.
most important aspect, winning. He's more of a winner than Shaq. He is. Shaq
Because of
didn't.
the program that he was in.
No, I don't know if he's more of a winner than Shaq, because Shaq has the same thing going on that we talked about with Giannis. Like we just said, when has Tim Duncan ever had to be a dog? He's never had to be a dog. And you can say it's because he didn't have to, but that's not something that.
Y'all have to.
When has Tim Duncan ever been a dog? Tell me when he was a dog.
Look up the 2003 NBA Finals when they played against the New Jersey Nets, and you tell me that that's not the best player in the league. In the league, look at
What
him.
does that
He's
have to do with him being a dog? You know
what do you
what?
mean a dog? That's a dog.
So he was
Tim,
out there.
you
He
need
was out there acting like Giannis was in the finals we were just talking about.
he's out there having his way. Whatever he wanted to do, that's what he wanted to do. He's out there. If you want to shoot a jumper in your face, he's gonna shoot a jumper in your face. He want to
Yeah,
post on the
Does
block.
that make you a dog?
yeah. Okay, I have a question. That sounds like dominance. He had his way out there. He was being dominant out there. He
Yeah,
Did
was the
Tim
most
Duncan?
dominant
Did Tim
player to ever
Duncan?
touch a basketball.
yeah, he is. Shaq's more dominant than Kareem. He's not better than him. Shaq's more dominant than Kobe. He's not ranked all time. He's not ranked higher than Kobe. I don't got him ranked higher than Kobe all time. He's more dominant than Larry Bird. He's not higher than Larry Bird. The dominant just sounds good. He's not
Shaq not
ranked
better
higher.
than Larry Bird.
Shaq not ranked high. He's not ranked higher than Larry Bird when it comes top. Not on
Where
no
the
top
fuck
10.
is Where is Larry Bird on your list?
Larry Bird probably like 6. I ain't gonna lie.
Larry Bird over Hakeem?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh my
He's got 3
god!
MVP. He's got 3 rings and 3 MVPs.
Y'all love stats.
Yes, I love stats.
You love
But I
stats.
love skill too. I love skill too. And
I
Larry
love
Bird,
I
I'm an
love a
eye test
dog.
type of guy.
I
I'm
love
an eye test guy.
oh,
a dog. That's
oh,
what I like. I like a
oh,
guy who can go
Larry
out there.
Bird,
No,
Larry
Larry,
Bird
no,
is
no.
more
I'm
of a
not
dog.
talking about Larry Bird. Larry Bird was a dog. Larry Bird was a dog. I'm not
Larry
talking
Bird's
about
more of a
Larry
dog
Bird.
than Hakeem. Larry Bird is out there telling you what he's gonna do to you, and he's
I
gonna do it.
just said I'm not saying Larry Bird isn't a
I
dog.
know, but I'm saying Larry Bird is more of a dog than Hakeem. You want to get in a
No,
dog
no, no,
argument?
no. He is. He might have
Okay,
been. It was close. I
okay.
don't think Larry Bird is more skilled than Hakeem. People forget that Hakeem was
No,
a damn near 7'2", 280. Hakeem was a truck,
no.
and he had
Hakeem had stupid skill. He did his skill. He got more skill than Shaq. He's more
exactly.
of a
He got more
he got
skill than Kareem.
he might yeah he probably does. Hakeem probably is the best skill. He probably is the most skilled center of
So
all time.
so
I just wish
you combine
more.
his skill with his
And
size. If you put Hakeem in today's NBA,
oh yeah,
he would be Joel, but way better.
it would be Joel 2.0, but the
So
best
Hakeem,
defender in the league.
so
And
when I'm looking at it all the time, I take that into
yeah,
consideration. Hakeem just was kind of born in the wrong generation. I
maybe.
don't
I
know if
mean,
I'm picking up. And
he was
okay,
born
in
in a big.
today's NBA, are you picking up Hakeem or Larry Bird?
I don't know. I might pick up Larry Bird if I know what I'm getting from Larry Bird. I might pick him up. Larry Bird is averaging like
You know what
30,
you're
10.
getting from Larry Bird in today's NBA? Who's he checking?
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely going to have to check somebody, but he's going to be like one of them Luka type dudes. Luka's not out there locking nobody up, but he's going to go out there and give you 35, 10, and 10. That's what Larry Bird would be out there doing. Larry Bird is
He
also.
ain't give Larry Bird ain't giving nobody in today's league 35. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
I'm so
I
serious.
agree with you.
Larry Bird would be light. I'm telling you,
I
Larry
love
Bird.
Larry Bird, but
That just
Larry
he don't
Bird
even need.
not.
I'm telling you, it's just some player. It's like Luka. When you look at Luka and you see the way he's moving, you're like, bro, how is that working? But it's
Luka's
working.
different. Luka's so
Luka,
different.
Super
Larry Bird
different.
was better than Larry Bird. No, Larry Bird is the best white boy to touch basketball. 6'9",
You
elite
shitting
shooter, one
me?
of the best. What you said? What
Larry Bird's the best. What to touch a basketball?
the best white boy to touch a basketball? Who's better than Larry Bird? And they're white. You can't name nobody. Especially, he's the only white dude in the top 10. There is no other white dude in the top 10. Larry Bird's
You
the
right.
only
You
only
right.
white.
You right. You right. You right. You right. You right. You right. You
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Larry Bird is one of the best passers of all time.
That
You can
man not better than Hakeem though.
I'm taking him over Hakeem. Name a small forward in NBA history that can pass better than Larry Bird, other than probably LeBron.
LeBron.
Yeah, other than LeBron. And if you look at the years that are, if you look at it's like this. Even though I give the edge to LeBron, LeBron's a better passer than him, but not by much. Larry Bird's still an elite passer too, and he's
Yeah.
a winner.
But when you look at
1986.
okay, so let's look at
19.
all the small forwards who are probably better than him. How much better defenders are they than Larry Bird? Larry Bird is probably the worst defender on the top 10 list if you have him on your top 10. I think Steph Curry is
Yeah,
a
he
better
probably
defender than Larry Bird.
he probably is the worst defender. I don't remember watching Larry Bird go out there but lock nobody up. But I know he's a winner, And I know his form of basketball, it produces wins. That's what it does. And he did that. And that's why if you look at some of the best teams of all time, he's got a team where he was the leader of that team and he led them to a ring. He's done that multiple years. And if he didn't hurt his back, he would have had multiple other years in his prime that injury it spoiled the rest of his career because he just wasn't the same player after he had those back injuries. But from when he got drafted all the way up until like 1988, he already had 3 MVPs and 3 rings already. And that's like in a span of 8 years. Larry Bird was him, and he's right there with Magic. That's the only dude that was right there. Who's better? Larry Magic. A lot of people say Magic. A lot of people say Bird. And I know y'all got to have Magic in your top 5. Ain't no way y'all don't got Magic in your top 5.
Next week, we definitely need to do a top 10 of all time. That might be the whole show. That might be the whole show next week.
Look, as soon as one of y'all start off and y'all say Michael Jordan's not the GOAT, I'm gonna be arguing for an hour. Do not start Charles Let's just
leave it there and let's come back next week.
We'll come back to it next week, man. That's how we go. That might really be the whole episode next week because I genuinely feel like it would take the whole time. Because based off of what he just said,
let's just start with our top 10 power rankings next week, and then we can go straight into the top 10 players.
Bet.
All right, bet that.
We had an hour and 30 minutes. This is our longest we have went so far.
Indeed.
Yeah,
episode 4. Thanks. Shout out everybody who tuned in. All the people watching on YouTube. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. Follow us on Twitch, Instagram, over and back on everything. Y'all know the value.
Yeah.